So it's funny because words like courage, persistence, we're all like, yeah, like we love those words. And
right.
Faith and belief and...
they feel great.
Oh, it's like, oh, I love those words.
Yeah.
Yeah, until you actually have to implement them.
When you need them.
Right, the only time you ever need to persist is when you're thinking about quitting. Take a pen and paper and write down who's the person that's living like that? How do they walk, talk, dress, act, travel? How do they handle adversity? You know, what's their attitude like? And really start to let your mind go there. Trust me, your mind will tell you.
How can we get in front of that fear? Like when we're growing our businesses and going after 30-day years. Like we know it could be there, we know it's lingering. How do we get in front of it?
We get so familiar with the way that we are. We get so familiar with our thinking. We're on a loop.
Right.
And you'd be shocked how little of your thinking is actually being done by you. Hey, I'm Dave Conway, and I'm here with my wife, Jacqueline. Welcome to the 30-Day Year podcast. Here, we explore ideas, philosophies, and real stories to help you take your annual income and turn it into your monthly income. Join us each week as we challenge conventional thinking around success, business growth, and building a life of true freedom. This podcast is created with your growth in mind. To help us reach more people and to make sure you never miss an episode, please like and subscribe. Let's get started. If you're loving this content, hit the like and subscribe button and help us get this 30-day year message out.
Today on the pod, we're going to take a closer look at identity. We've done episodes on identity before. I'd recommend go listen to those as well if you're into this concept. It's a huge idea. And it's also the second step of our coaching system, which is working on the identity to work toward your 30-day year goal and go for those big things. It's all about the identity. And why I think it's so important and fundamental, and I think you'll agree, is that it's really not about the money when you get the 30-day year. It's about finding a new level to yourself and unlocking like more potential and really seeing what you're made of. And that's what I think is most exciting about it for myself anyways. Because I know money, I've learned to really appreciate and focus on money, but it's not like the driving force for me at all. It's about something so much deeper. And I think a lot of people are like that too. And so this is going to be a good conversation because we've observed and worked with many people, and you've coached so many people, thousands of people. And what can happen as they're going along is they can get caught in these like loops. So they get energized, they're doing the work, they're following the Conway coaching system, they're invested in themselves, they're invested in going for this whole thing, this 30-day year. And maybe they go up for a little bit and then they kind of come back around and they get caught in this like kind of loop. And it's different than a hamster wheel. It's not because they're trying. Like I find in a hamster wheel, it's almost kind of like your mind is just cycling and you're just used to the mundane sort of in and out minutia of day-to-day life. And you're maybe not even focused on a goal, you're just living. And this is different. It's not like you're in the hamster wheel, but you are on a loop. And you can circle back around to where you started almost, or feel like you are, but maybe you're not. Maybe we're going to talk about that. So I really want to talk to you about identity loops today and your experience with them either personally or with clients, and just like shine some light on this topic, because I think it's really important, because it's not going to be like clear sailing to your 30-day year. Like I wish it was, but it's not. There's going to be ups and downs and cycles of things. And so that's what I want to get into today. So what is your understanding, or what's your understanding, and how do you see identity loops?
Well, I'm very enthusiastic to talk about this today. It's such a massive part of our life.
Yeah.
And I think I want to start by helping everybody understand like really just what identity is. Identity comes from the ideas and beliefs that you identify with. So when I started on this journey, I didn't ever consider having nice things in my life. Mm-hmm. So if I was to stay at a hotel, I'd look at what's the cheapest hotel. I would stay at a Super 8 or whatever. I would never go and look at a luxury vehicle. I would never go and look at a multi-million-dollar house, because I think, well, who needs that? I don't like that. I don't care about that. And along this journey, I realized that, you know what? Don't knock it till you try it. So I wasn't aware of this, but I was in an identity loop. I was, a part of my identity was to be cheap. And that all of my decisions were around that one single idea. So as a person starts to set goals, you want to start to set goals that push you outside of your current comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So when you set a goal, you want that goal to, number one, challenge your thinking. So make your like the neurons or the electrodes or whatever the heck in your brain, kind of misfire or short circuit. The second thing is that you want your goals to challenge your belief system, because your belief system is producing your identity. They're kind of like one and the same. And then the third is start to set goals that make you uncomfortable. So as you start to set these kind of goals, you need to ask yourself, who's the man, woman, or person that is naturally achieving these goals and this way of life and this lifestyle? Mm-hmm. That is where you can start to draw out a new identity. If a person is not consciously developing a new identity, they will go into an identity loop where they actually think that their thoughts are their own. So if you were to ask me 10 years ago, Dave, what do you see value in? Why do you stay at Super 8s? Why do you always go for the cheapest thing? Why do you get upset if something costs a little more than something else? I would have justified that to you. But yet those weren't my thoughts. Those were thoughts that were programmed into me, and they formed my identity. So I was living in a loop for a very long time.
So your self-image is like reinforcing your life, your outcomes, your lifestyle.
Yep.
It just keeps reinforcing it.
It's such a massive topic. Like, as I said at the beginning, like I'm thrilled to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the pieces of the puzzle that completely set me free. Like I heard the word success at 18 years old, and it ruined the next 15 years of my life. Mm-hmm. Because I went out there trying to create success, but I did not understand identity, and I didn't understand identity loops. Mm-hmm. So I'm out there working my butt off and not making any changes. Mm-hmm. Like maybe I could make some temporary changes for a week or a month, but something would always happen to snap me back.
Can I give you a scenario?
Mm-hmm.
So let's pretend my name is Veronica.
Nice to meet you, Veronica.
Nice to be here. Let's say I really like the 30-Dayer podcast, and I really like the idea of multiplying my income. So I make $50,000 a year, and I want to make $50,000 a month. So I've done the goal setting process, and I'm excited about that. I'm a little nervous, and I'm like, I don't even know what that would look like to earn $50,000 a month. Like I can see a dream life, but it seems so far away and kind of crazy. It's like really stretching me. So I'm getting to work, I own a business, and I'm focused on growing that business. And I'm at this for 4 or 5 months now. And I saw a little bit of growth in the third month. Okay. I hit that, I skimmed $25,000 a month, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then here I am at month 5, and I'm right back to $10,000 a month again, or $5,000 a month. So how would you coach me, Veronica, through that? Knowing that I want to keep going for that $50,000 consistency, but I keep kind of looping back around. And I started at 5, and then I went to 10, then I was at 25, and then I'm coming back down again. How would you help Veronica?
I would just ask her to start to focus.
Okay. Focus on what?
Focus on that $50,000 a month version of Veronica. Mm. And then we would just start to find the areas that she is slipping back to $10,000 a month Veronica.
Okay. What could that look like? What could be some of the areas that would pull her back?
It's always in her thinking.
Okay.
Your identity controls the way you make decisions too. Because your identity is what you believe is what you value. So
I'm going to keep building on Veronica because I think this is kind of fun.
Okay.
So let's say Veronica is, let's see, what kind of business does she have? She is, let's say, I know this world really well. Let's say she's a marketing consultant. Okay. So she's providing marketing services, helping people create content strategies and podcast plans and stuff like that. So she starts to run workshops on that to help other business owners create this, and then sees an uptick. And then she also has an agency, so she can help manage some of that stuff. And so She wants to get those like retainer clients in because that kind of builds up like residual income, and then she can start hiring people and stuff like that. And she ran her first workshop and she only had 10 people come, and then one person signed up. So she's like a little defeated by that. So what would be her next step?
Well, I'd ask her, does $50,000 Veronica quit?
Probably not.
Right? Does $50,000 Veronica learn when things don't go her way? Does $50,000 Veronica allow a temporary result to dictate how she feels?
Yes.
Does $50,000 Veronica live from the outside in? Who's in control of $50,000 Veronica? Who's in control of her life?
Yeah.
And you have to understand that it's the vibration that you're in, that your mental attitude is determining all the results in your life.
For
so
sure.
that's what I would ask her. And then she would snap back into
Yep.
$50,000 Veronica. Like, I'm not telling her how $50,000 Veronica thinks. I am asking her how $50,000 Veronica thinks.
Right.
And she'll know. She doesn't quit. She's persistent. She learns from everything that's occurring. She's constantly progressing. She's honest. She's getting an edge on herself.
Yeah.
She's pushing the limits all the time. She's finding the discomfort zone.
Yeah.
That's what I would say to her. And I've done that lots with clients.
Yeah. Well, I love that you said attitude, because even when I was like pretending I was kind of Veronica in her
You were
mind,
becoming her, were
I
you?
was like becoming Veronica. But what I felt like is, well, she started in my own like strange little weird thing, like cycle I'm going through for myself, embodying this person, is that she started to think about herself and not the people. So like she wasn't focused on the service and the attitude and just getting out there and serving more. She just started to think about herself and, oh, I didn't get enough from this experience. I didn't get enough people there. I didn't get enough clients. Well, getting energy is the number one reason why someone is not in the spirit of what they want and not getting the 5 clients maybe that she wanted instead of the 1. And I just know it's like like you said, it's the attitude. It's like, are you in the spirit of this? And that attitude is going to help you break through that identity that's like trying to pull you back, the paradigm that's trying to hold you back. And that's at least when I was thinking of her.
Well, yeah. And the other thing about identity too is like, if you have not created your own identity, like people want to understand this. The chances that you have created your own identity and personality is 0. It was formed through genetic programming and then through environmental programming. So if you grew up in a home that was of a certain religion, you probably have been conditioned through that religion. If you grew up in a home that had no religion or maybe atheism, then you probably are gravitating towards that. So your environment is everything. So very rarely will you ever find a person in the world that has consciously self-fabricated who they want to be, who they really are. Most people do not challenge their own belief systems. Why? Because they don't have goals enough. They don't have goals big enough that require them to start to challenge themselves. And that is where my life really began to change. I got guided on setting big multiplication goals, turning my annual income into my monthly income. That was so crazy. I wanted it, but it was a crazy idea. And you see a lot of people out there who have some goals, but they don't understand this identity stuff. They don't understand how deep-rooted the self-image is. So after you set the goal, you need to sit down and ask yourself, who's the man, woman, or person that is naturally producing that? And then you'll start to live into that person. So if Veronica came and she's disappointed and she's temporarily discouraged and she's considering quitting or whatever, you need to just remind her. Who's the woman? Who's the woman?
Get her back into that energy and that spirit of who that woman is.
I remember the first 3 webinars I ever did, no one came. Except one of them, one guy, my friend named Rob came out of Scotland.
Rob.
He came.
Yeah. He was always a big supporter.
Yeah, he came. And so he was a friend, so he didn't count. But no, like, new people came.
Yeah.
And I remember me telling someone that, and they were like, "Oh, that's so sad." "Oh, that's so sad." Right. And I said, "Well, not really." I said, I feel bad for the people that weren't there. I said it was an amazing webinar.
Right.
I still put it on as if the world was watching.
Yeah.
I still put on as if I achieved my goal.
Yeah.
You see, what people don't understand is your subconscious mind does not know the difference between real and imagined.
So you still got the experience of running a webinar for an audience, even though there wasn't an audience there. Because that's what you kind of told yourself.
That's right. And then I told myself that it was successful.
Yeah. Okay.
You can trick yourself into thinking anything.
That's true. Beliefs are weird. Beliefs are so tricky.
That's right.
They're so tricky. So I think like attitude, I love that you kind of zoned in on that and you've touched on paradigm, and like talk to me about fear too, because I feel like when we're after the big goal and Veronica's doing her workshops, like if there's like underlying fear there running things, she might not even be aware of it. You know, it's like why personal development is so important is that we're making the unconscious conscious. Like we might not even know we have this underlying fear, or we might have these like self-worth issues, or we're even scared to share what we know because we're not sure it's going to help anybody or whatever. You know, there's all these weird narratives happening in people's minds. So like how, it's a tricky question because it's like, well, how can we get in front of that fear? Like when we're growing our businesses and going after 30-day years, like we know it could be there. We know it's lingering. How do we get in front of it?
So first off, you get in front of it by knowing that you're going to have it. So acting courageously, you don't need courage unless fear is present. So the mere fact that you have to act courageously or take a leap of faith is an indicator that you are experiencing fear, doubt, and worry. You have to seek fear. You have to seek discomfort. You know, I've been saying to a lot of the clients
That's interesting. I didn't think you were going to say that. You have to seek it.
You have to seek it.
Because that's how you find it.
Yes, because if you don't, you're in a comfort zone.
Right. Yeah.
So faith isn't just the absence of fear. Faith is knowing that it's there, but you step in anyway. Like you don't need courage to do anything that you're comfortable doing.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it's funny because words like courage, persistence, we're all like, yeah, like we love those words. And faith and belief and...
they feel great.
Oh, it's like, oh, I love those words.
Yeah.
Yeah, until you actually have to implement them.
Yeah, when you need them.
Right. The only time you ever need to persist is when you're thinking about quitting. Like you don't have to persist through winning.
Right.
Right? Like after you just achieve the gold medal, you're not like, oh, I really got to persist in winning these golds or whatever. Like you're not thinking that. You're like celebrating it.
Right.
So can you get to the mind? It goes back to the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between real and imagined. So fear is imaginary. It's literally shooting. It's like your paradigm. It's your old identity. It's shooting something up. And the first thing it does, it takes control of your intellect. So it takes control of your reasoning faculty. And when you start to stretch and go further than your current level of awareness, your current level of achievement, you will feel discomfort.
Right.
So you have to understand that. You have to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Right. Oh, it sucks though, Dave. It sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Like,
True.
you know, the reward is worth it. The reward is worth it. Like even on today's podcast, when you're telling me we're doing identity loop, like I wore this jacket. This jacket was a terror barrier. I broke through this.
Right.
Like, and these
I remember that.
Like, yeah. Like this jacket was $2,000.
Yeah, I remember when you bought
and
it.
And why did I buy it? Is it because I'm Mr. Fancy Pants? Well, I guess I am now. But no. It's because I was trying to break my self-image. I remember the first...
You broke a loop there.
Yes, I broke a loop.
You broke an identity loop there because you could have just gone back to like Moore's and bought whatever. But you're like, no, I'm going to go to the upscale shop in town. I'm going to buy an expensive jacket.
Yep, and I remember this pocket
cool.
square too. I forget how much that was, and it was just crazy.
It was like a couple $100.
That's
I think,
right.
which
And
is
even
insane.
today, I have my pen.
Yeah.
I got this pen from Bob Proctor. It's called Bob's Pen.
Yep.
And you know, when I got this, I was living on the edge, man. Like I was pushing limits on everything. And I like this pen is constantly reminding me to get back in the terror barrier. And then I also carry around coins all the time. And I've got all these indicators all the time. And this is telling me, you know, the 4 habits of financial freedom, the 4 ideas I have to get involved in. And then I carry around too, like I carry around a goal card and then I wrap the goal card in money.
Yep.
And why do I do that? Because this is my financial goal, my next goal that I want to bring into my life. And I understand that, I just got to feel rich. I got to start to wrap this around.
Right.
Right? Being miserly never changed my income.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Circulating the ideas through my own system, that's what changed my income.
Yeah. I like that you brought up your jacket, because I remember when I bought a Chanel bag, I was like terrified to buy a Chanel bag. I wanted one for my whole life. And I was like, I really want this freaking bag. It's so stupid, right? And I had so much just like fear around it and all this anxiety. And I didn't want it. I had fear of like, what's that called when you're afraid? Criticism, like people being like, "Oh, fancy pants, Mr. Miss Fancy Pants," right? Yeah. I had Miss Priss has a Chanel bag, so I was like really scared to buy it and how I would be interpreted afterward. But honestly, when I did finally do it, like only last year, I was like, it felt like this really great sort of full circle moment where I was like fulfilling an identity that I'd always wanted to achieve, because I had it in my self-image script for years. Like, I have a Chanel bag and I wear Veronica Beard suits, and I was wearing Veronica Beard suits for years but didn't have the bag. It was like completed the sort of like identity shift, or like broke the loop finally, that it was like, you are allowed to have this.
But the difference is that you had a self-image, you had a goal. So if a person doesn't have these things, they'll just loop around right to the casket.
Yes, it was really based in the identity script, because I know for a fact I would not have that bag if I hadn't built it into the script that I had been affirming and reading and had really wanted for myself. Yeah. And for some reason, like bags with ladies, suits with men, I don't know. There's like something there. Watches, I know watches are a common piece.
I never had a desire for a watch. I never had a desire for suits. Right. Like I remember when I first started this, I just was mimicking Bob Proctor, so he wore suits. So I just started to wear them too. And I remember for like well over a year, I was very uncomfortable wearing a suit. I like my confidence level didn't go up in a suit. It went down. Like I felt very
Did you feel like a phony or something?
You just feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
it was unnatural to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I flew at the front of a plane, and I remember sitting there and all these people were walking past me, and I was certain that they were all looking at me and judging me and doing all like, or idolizing, or whatever the hell, like all these different energies. They didn't give a shit. No. And if they did, who cares?
Yeah, they didn't care at all.
But I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah. I had the same feeling too. I remember that for my own self, like sitting in the premium zone or whatever. I was like, oh my God, everyone's
so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So.
And exactly what that feels like.
Yeah, you got to push through. So when it comes to fear, you got to know this, like you're going to feel it. Yeah. And that's good.
Yeah.
If you're acting crazy, you do not need courage, persistent faith, or belief if you are not experiencing fear. You're in possession of the most powerful force in the universe, a human imagination. Learn how to harness this superpower and grow your business with peace of mind. Visualization isn't just for artists or professional athletes. Great fortunes can be built with it too. Download my free visualization checklist and get started today.
It seems like to break the identity loop is a decision. Do you think it's a decision or it's an attitude shift?
It's all those things, but you have to have something. Like there's a process. Like if you walked up to the next 1,000 people on the street and you said, "Hey, brother," or "Hey, sister," did you read your self-image script today?
Never asked that.
Right?
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh yeah, let me pull it out."
Right.
I don't think so.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be very rare, Jacqueline, for you ever to come across a person that is actually self-determined who they are. Very rare, if you ever do.
Right. Like really built the identity from their own.
Yes, because we are so familiar with ourselves. We're so familiar with our environment to think outside. Like for me to think that I would only want to stay in luxury hotels. If you were to tell me that over 10 years ago, I would have laughed in your face.
Right.
We get so familiar with the way that we are. We get so familiar with our thinking. We're on a loop.
Right.
And you'd be shocked how little of your thinking is actually being done by you.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by that. The paradigm speaks through
Yeah.
the programming, the interpretation of life, whatever has been sort of baked in just wants to keep expressing.
Yeah, this is the idea that broke me free, because I was trying for 15 years trying to
The
make
identity
results.
loop idea.
Yeah.
Breaking through.
I was trying to create results, and I was failing left, right, and center for 15 years straight. And it wasn't until I learned about the identity that that's when my life changed. You know, this morning on a call, we have a new coach starting with us, Shay. And I read him my identity script that I wrote out when I was a carpenter earning $5,000 a month. And as I read it to him, it was like over 2 pages long. And everything I'm reading, that's just me now, right?
Yeah.
But I was telling him, like, I want you to know, I know you only know me now, but you didn't know me back then.
Yeah.
Like, I was a carpenter earning $5,000 a month. Every single thing on this script was completely fabricated in my own mind.
Yeah.
Through
You
the
didn't have any of
imagination.
it.
None of it.
Yeah. So how does visualization play into it then? Would you visualize your identity as well as affirm it? Did you use the two together?
Yeah, I almost wish we could stand right now, like, because I would stand, you know. You gotta see the image of who you want to be. Then you have to feel how that feels. Allow that image and that vibration to like course through your body. And then you have to let yourself, you have to consent to being that person. You have to consent to the ideas. We are habitually and constantly rejecting ideas that could change our life like that and improve our life and the lives of those around us. And we reject them all the time. All the time.
Can I ask you about energy, expressing energy? I remember you told this story recently, and I have my own kind of experience with it recently that I'll get into. But you said that when you ran your first 4-hour workshop, you were like, I was like destroyed after. I was so tired. My body was like done. But now you can do it so effortlessly for many days. And recently we did an event in Las Vegas, and I really wanted to up my game as the host. And so I wanted to like express differently and bigger and in a bigger way and in a greater way. And I feel I did accomplish that. There was good feedback that I had done that. But I was dead after.
Were you?
I was so
Oh,
tired.
I didn't know that.
I didn't tell you that.
No.
I was like, I swear to God, my flight got canceled because my body was like, you're just too damn tired. You need to go to bed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny. I'm like my misty only because I'm
Are you
laughing at
tearing
myself.
up?
No, I'm not. I'm not crying. It's like I'm like misty laughing at myself in my head. But I was just dead after. But I felt like I expressed at a different level, and I wasn't used to it yet.
Yeah.
Like there was like an identity shift there for me, or like I was starting to break a loop because I was kind of in a comfort zone. I was kind of like, I do this, I do this, I do this. And I was like, no, I want to change it up. I want to like get to find a different gear in this whole thing. And so I really focused on that. Yeah, bigger. And it like freaking sucker punched me energetically. It took so much energy. And like, I think you were like, I want to go do this and this and this. It's like, I just want to like chill. Like I have to just chill. I was like, I know what you mean by when you're like, I was like broken. Remember we went for dinner that night?
Yeah, I said my bone marrow.
Yeah, your bone marrow was sore. And I remember this, we were at the Keg. We were having like our classic steak dinner with like the, was that the salad? We always talk about food on this show. The wedge salad. And I remember eating it. And you were like the worst date of all time. You were so tired. You had like nothing left.
I was actually in physical pain. Like my DNA hurt.
Yeah. So I'm not sure my DNA hurt, but like I was in physical pain. Like I was just tired. So I probably was a bit of a boring date after that event too, because I was just tired. So how did you build up that stamina? How did you like embrace that like identity as a speaker that could speak for hours for multiple days in a row?
I had a testimony. That's one thing. I had a testimony, a testament. So I saw Bob Proctor go for 6 days straight.
Yep.
In his 80s.
Yeah.
And I after I did that talk, the 4-hour talk, because prior to that I only ever did 1.5-hour talks.
Yeah. And
I was like, I think I could do a 4-hour, you know? And the talk went well.
It did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
you wore that jacket.
Yep. I wore this jacket. That's why I'm wearing it today. Okay. We're going throwback.
Yeah.
And I know it went well, but I was shattered. The word would be shattered.
Shattered.
After.
Yeah.
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 And then that upped my respect because prior to that, like I wasn't aware that he was talking like that for that long
Right.
at that age. So after I experienced that, I was like, damn, like you have a really long way to go. So my respect for him
Yeah.
and the age that he was like went through the roof.
Yeah.
So we observe people doing things all the time, but we don't always register that they're doing it because they
Yeah.
do it so naturally.
Right.
So I had a testimony. I was like, wow, okay, so it is possible. And then I started to learn about a thing called mental stamina. That was around the time I really started to understand mental stamina.
Okay, I want you to get into that because from my perspective, like you're speaking all day long. Like that requires so much energy.
Yeah, I can go all day, every day.
Yeah. So my role is like I'm speaking for portions. Like I do intros, I do exits, I do this, I do that. But I'm still actively engaging with all the material and learning with everybody. And I'm writing notes constantly. And I'm also not only writing notes constantly from my perspective, but from the audience's perspective. Because I do like hot takes and things like that. So I want to have ways to jump into the conversation with the audience and make sure it's relevant to how they could be seeing it. So there is like a hardcore level of concentration that I'm engaging in while I'm there too. And so it's like the combination of like expressing and then concentrating and then engaging. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. So I want to hear, how did you build the mental stamina for that? Because I think it's useful not only in like kind of performance or speaking, but also just in work in general.
Yeah, so after being shattered like that, I was like, whoa, I have a long way to go. But I had the testimony, so I knew that it could be done. So I just started to keep engaging mentally into the thought of being that world-class speaker, to move through the room.
So just accepting that you could be that way was
yes,
the first
that
step to the
right
stamina.
now I'm in pain. Right now I have extreme discomfort.
Yeah.
But if I continue to just relax into that idea and keep letting myself re-engage, because my mind could do this. It could say, well, you know, you got to cool it, man. Like you got to go back. You got to go down to 2 hours. Go back to your 90 seconds or sorry, your 90 minutes.
Yeah.
No, because I want to do this for days.
Right.
And I've seen someone else do it for days. So I know it can be done.
Right.
You know, I remember John Canary, who was partners with Bob Proctor back in the 80s and 90s and some of the series. I would go see these guys talk all the time. And I remember John Canary said, only if you are aware that whenever you see someone having, doing, being, or producing a life that you would like to have, do, be, or produce, that the only difference between you and them is that they are accepting ideas that you are currently rejecting. So to understand that I can just let this idea wash over me. I remember after that, I did a 6-hour one. Yes. I didn't stay at the 4, so I pushed further.
Yeah.
I've done that sort of technique when it comes to income, savings, push through.
So when you hit like the point where you're like, oh, okay, the fatigue is coming, or I feel like there's like not as much gas in the tank. What do you do then? Do you like relax and keep going? Like, how do you kind of like summon up that's like the point where you grow, right? It's kind of like when you work out, right? You like work the muscle to failure and then the growth happens. So it's like with the speaking, when you're on the cusp of failure, then what would happen for you mentally?
It's like the same. If anyone's ever done yoga or if you've ever given birth, like, you know, you got your Lamaze class,
How can you
right?
speak to giving birth right now?
I can speak to whatever I want.
You definitely can't speak to that. I'm just gonna throw that out for the ladies right now that like Dave Conway cannot speak to childbirth. Sorry.
Well, I'm about to.
You're not
just jokes. So
you're gonna offend a lot of ladies.
I'm not. No. Listen, let me finish my thing. So I don't remember my state of mind like when I did that talk, but I guarantee you it was stressed. It was tense.
For the first one.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Like for the first 3 years before any talk I ever did, I always had a tension because I had anxiety. So you fatigue yourself.
Oh, you had like tension.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had fear.
Right.
Fear to go out there and communicate these ideas. So as I became more relaxed, more comfortable sharing them,
yeah,
my ability to carry on. You know, I do CrossFit, and one of the trainers there is Lori Machisnik, world champion, and she's always telling us, relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
100%. It is a skill. Like to learn how to relax yourself on command is like a really powerful
It's like yoga. You ever done the yoga? You're stretching, you breathe into it, you breathe into it, you breathe into it, you take it to that point, and then you breathe a little more and you keep breathing and leaning into it. So breath makes you bigger, gives you more power, and it's tension that fatigues.
Yeah, and then there's like that natural breath that just does something to the brain too, right? There's all the neuroscience behind breath and what it does to the mind, calms the body, the nervous system, right?
I don't know too much about that, but
well, the nervous system, right? It relaxes the nervous system.
Yeah.
So that's where you would go. That makes sense, of course. And then it is like a muscle. It's
so
no
that has to
different
be
than
built
working
into your
out.
identity that you're a relaxed person.
Relaxed person,
Yeah.
even when performing at high levels.
Even at performing high levels.
Because like sometimes when you're, sorry to interrupt you, but like when you're like in an expressive mode, like, cause it's like so interesting. Cause like when you're highly expressive, it's not like you're relaxed. So, but you have to come at it with a sense of relaxation, but like still like projecting or giving a lot of like a high level of energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's like such a balance there.
Yeah. You just, that's amazing. I didn't know that you felt like a little fatigued or shattered after.
Oh, I felt really shattered. The most I'd ever felt.
Well, that's great.
After
That means
hosting
you went to a
event.
place that you've never been.
Yeah.
So it's like, I give this analogy of, imagine a freeway with 10 lanes. And each lane goes a certain miles per hour is the speed limit. So lane 1 is 100, lane 2 is 200 miles an hour, 3 is 300, lane 9 is 900, lane 10 is 1,000. And you can have a person driving in lane 1, comfortable, doing their makeup, having a coffee, driving with their knee.
Sure.
And they're comfortable. And you might say, hey, like, are you comfortable? They're like, oh yeah, they're confident.
Yeah.
And if you want to make them uncomfortable and start to hit their confidence, say, hey, start driving in the 400 mile an hour lane.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they will not be as comfortable driving that lane. But then there could be another person in that lane doing the same thing, doing their makeup, driving with their knee, having a coffee, talking on the phone, daydreaming, whatever the heck.
For sure. It's like, what this reminds me of? Like, I remember learning to drive a stick shift. That was my first vehicle that I bought out of university. I had driven before, but I hadn't had my own car. So I finally bought my own car. It was a standard. And it took me, like, I was so nervous for so long. It took me 6 months to not even think about it.
Yeah.
Like, every time I'd engage the what's it called? The clutch to shift into, like, first gear, I would be just like, oh, like, I'm going to stall. And I was, like, had all this, like, anxiety. But I remember the day. I remember it was, like, exactly 6 months later when I could just do it. And I was like, oh, hey. Yeah. It's done.
On
I know
a hill,
how to do
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
I was so good at it. People would be like, wow, that's smooth. I was like, yeah, that's right. I was like so smooth. I like that. It was so smooth. Yeah. So it's so interesting, like the way these habits are formed, the way our mind works. Because it's like you can form the habit of expressing at a high level.
Yep. You can identify with that idea. Yeah.
But you'll never find it unless you push yourself to that edge and then learn how to relax, train your mind to relax in that state. And then you'll be able to go even further and further and further.
And then you'll want it. It's like if you look at a lot of sports people, it's like take Michael Jordan, like these people, they want the ball. Yeah. They want to shoot that final shot. Yeah. They want to do it.
That I think is like just talking that through feels like the most important thing to understand when breaking an identity loop. Because some people get to that edge and they're like, I can't do this. I don't want this anymore. But it's like, I think you do. But you're just experiencing the discomfort and you have to learn how to relax into that discomfort.
Yeah, people snap back.
They snap back.
Yeah, most people do, if they even get to that level.
Yes. But even in a small way, like even like back to Veronica. Like if you think of her and her little business that she's running and she's trying to get in front of more business owners and serve more people, if she's going to do talks or speaking to get clients, she's gonna have to learn how to be more comfortable and relaxed in front of those people.
More powerful.
Yeah.
It's all identity. It's amazing. This I'd say is probably the most important podcast we've ever done.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. We've done a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it. So just to put a bow on it then, what would you recommend for someone to work on to kind of push through their identity loops if they're experiencing them?
Well, I think you want to understand, number one, the importance of goals. like sit down and start to fantasize what would happen if in my life if I turned my annual income into my monthly income. Really start to fantasize.
Yeah.
Then if you say, you know what, I like that idea. What's the criteria to make a decision? Do you like the idea? Is that something you'd like to live? Do you think that's cool?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I determine my decisions. Like, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So I'd like that. So I
Sure.
accept that idea. If I don't think it's cool, then I don't want it. Also, ideas that don't push me outside my comfort zone, I don't want it. You know, I don't like spending too much time with people that live in them either, because you pick up what they have. Next thing you know, you're not feeling inspired anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So number one is sit down and ask yourself, what would happen if I turned my annual income into my monthly income? Then after you do that, then take a pen and paper and write down who's the person that's living like that? How do they walk, talk, dress, act, travel? How do they handle adversity?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's their attitude like? And really start to let your mind go there. Trust me, your mind will tell you. And then after you do that, then start to mentally engage in that person. But you'd have to want to change.
Mm-hmm.
So the prerequisite to change is wanting it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you just want the world to keep changing you, which it will.
Yeah.
So
and then persist through those moments in time when you feel like quitting.
Yeah, it takes immense amount of mentorship. Like,
yeah.
I can see the difference of people that go it alone.
Yes.
Their growth is
slower.
Is very slow.
Yeah.
Mine was slow to non-existent when I was trying to go it alone.
Until you got mentorship.
Yeah, until I got told what to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not aware. Like, you can't see the center when you are the center. So to have a person give you feedback, like a great mentor, then you know what to work on. You'll start to know your defects. I remember one time when Bob said to me, you got a cash poor paradigm. I never knew that. Mm-hmm. And he told me what to do, and I worked on it for 6 months, and had to be broken.
Yeah.
Right? He would tell me things all the time. I remember he told me I had a bad attitude, and that was shocking.
Right.
Yeah.
All of those things were adding up into revealing where you needed to step up in your identity, like all those conversations.
Yeah, what people need to understand is that it pays to know how to buy knowledge.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost. It pays to know how to buy knowledge. How to buy it.
Yeah.
And if you start to understand that, I'm telling you, you can make big changes really fast. I had a client that just came into the mentorship in February of this year. Mm-hmm. So that was, 11 months ago or something like that. And he earned $100,000 in 2024. Between the months of February and November or December 1st, 2025, he had 3 30-day year months. So he's earned $100,000 3 times. How does that happen? Mentorship.
Right. He's on his way.
He's on his way.
If this podcast is opening your eyes to powerful new ideas, helping you think bigger, and opening your level of awareness, be sure to hit subscribe right now and leave us a 5-star review. That will help us reach more ambitious people just like you ready to grow.
Produced at
Sound Lounge by T-Bone.